How's everybody doing? Thank you for having us in Ireland. He's a good man after all. You know, he acts like he's not, but he is. But anyway, I'm here seriously, guys, to if you guys have any question concerning diets, of course, whatever you need to know about whatever you want to know. You know, I have 74 professional bodybuilders on my resume. I helped 5 out of the top 10 in the Olympia. So I know a few things about bodybuilding, or at least that's the rumor out there, you know. They say that I know a few things. So.
Competed in the Olympia yourself.
I competed in the Olympia myself, you know, 3 times. So, yeah, if you guys have any question, feel free. You know, I'm here.
I've been on to you a couple of times on the net, and we speak a lot about egg whites, and just in relation, what way is the best way to take them? I mean, I get in 2 litres of them a day, but a lot of people seem to have problems with their digestion, going to their big job and stuff like you know. What would be the best way to start off and build up with it?
What are we talking about? The egg?
Egg white. Pasteurized egg white.
You know, egg whites really it's not the best protein out there. I don't know, for some reason people think it's the awesome protein. I tell you what egg whites is good for. It's a filler, you know, when you're dieting down. It's the only time we use egg whites, I think, what is it, 2-3 weeks before the show? Right? Yeah, we really, like, you know, just if we really want to have like some kind of filler so your stomach is full, but it's not a really good, you know, it's not a highly digestive protein. Let's put it that way. You know, your body does not absorb it very well until you add some yolk in there. Then you make it more complete protein. So I'll take it easy on the egg whites, you know. Okay? I mean, I truly believe in you know, food, you know. But of course, like you have, I hate to say it, but like Optimum Nutrition have Hydro Whey protein. It's probably the best supplement out there, even that I don't work with them anymore. But because I was one of the creators there, it's really an awesome protein. And the reason why it's awesome, I'm going to go on this and collaborate so you'll understand why is it good protein. You see, after working out, what many of you do immediately after working out? For an example, what you do after working out? What do you do? No, what I'm saying, when you know, in the off season, you're working out, you're trying to build muscles, what do you guys do? I want to have like 3 guys. I'm going to ask 3 guys, and I'm going to show you.
Simple sugar and
Simple sugar, okay. What do you do?
You have your carbohydrates.
You got to have your carbohydrate after. What do? You got to have carbohydrate. See what I'm saying? Here I'm not going to ask more than 3 guys, but everybody will tell you after working out you got to have carbohydrate, right? Wrong. Why? Because if you have carbohydrate after you're working out, you just wasted all your workout. And the reason why, because the reason why we're going to the gym is to increase our GH output level, you know, as high as you can. And you only have about 25 to 30 minutes after working out that your GH level at its highest. That's why I came out with Hydro Whey. I gave them the idea when I was with Optimum, because all the studies were made on cyclists or soccer player or runners. None of them was made on bodybuilding. And that's why, yeah, when you run to activity, you need something to replenish your glycogen, but they didn't care about your GH level like bodybuilders do, and that's why we work out. So that's why I came out with something like Hydro Whey, because what we did, we take the branched chain amino acid and we peptide it, you know, makes it smaller, so it's almost like drinking water. As soon as it hits your system, it goes into recovery without needing any sugar. That's why it was really good. So next time you work out, the first thing you do, you either take micronized amino acids, branched chain amino acids, which your body needs it, or you take Hydro Whey protein, and then about 25 minutes later, that's when you have your carbs. Okay? So you do this, and you're gonna say, "Wow, I've been wasting a lot of time," because you're gonna see your muscles growing, it's forming different, your fat percentage went down, even on the same food you've been doing all your life. Then you'll notice right away the difference. Okay?
So
So that's why first thing in the morning, stay away from carb. When you first wake up, you need something like protein, and then 30 minutes later have your carb, and the same thing after working out. Okay?
Sorry, is that particular to the type of protein you have afterwards, after training?
Well, that's why I said hydrolyzed. Need to be hydrolyzed or micronized. Otherwise, you know, like if you take, for an example, isolate protein, you need about 25 minutes to enter your bloodstream. So you're already in a state of catabolic. You need something quick to stop it, and that's why people mix it with sugar, you know, so they can have that stop, but at the same time, they're killing their GH level.
What about whey protein?
That's what I just said. The isolated whey or whey, they're very slow. They need 25 minutes. You need it to be hydrolyzed. Hydrolyzed can enter your bloodstream quicker.
If you drink your aminos during your training session, is it-
That's fine. It's perfect. That's a great idea to do.
Branching amino acids and insulin response, is there much, like, let's say people wouldn't take even branching amino acids before cardio because they want to burn more fat? Does it make any sense? Or?
It doesn't make any sense. Now remember, a lot of people too, they ask me that question. Yeah, it's fine to do your cardio on empty stomach and stuff, but remember, you have the highest cortisol level in the morning. You know that, right? So you know it's at its highest. So you need something to slow down that thing. Otherwise, you're gonna start eating into your muscles. You know, except of course if you load it up, you know, on all kind of anabolic, then it's a different story. But I'm talking about a natural guy who wants to lose fat. You know what I'm saying? Now, if you have other defense that you're taking synthetically, it's a different story. We're talking a different ball game.
And is that different also to the post-workout than like nutrition, as in, you know, enhanced versus natural? Is there...
Well, you know, I'm showing you a non-enhanced, okay? But if it works on non-enhanced that good, so imagine how good will work on enhanced. You follow me? So I'll follow the best way. You know what I'm saying? You know, the main thing is don't waste time. It's like, you know, yeah, Hydro Whey is expensive, or IsoFast by MHP. I don't know if you guys have MHP in Ireland or not yet. Yeah, it's IsoFast. Also, it's a Hydro Whey. So you need, you know, if you have a Ferrari, you want to put the best gasoline in it. And, you know, and I treat my body better than Ferrari, you know. I mean, I want to be the best. Whatever there's best fuel out there, you know, especially if you want to be a bodybuilder and you want to be elite, you have to do the elite things, you know.
How about water cycles? So I can come up to a show.
What do you mean?
Like, what would be the best way to dry your body out?
What's the best way to dry you out?
Yeah.
It's dieting, you know. I mean, it takes time. The main thing is, a lot of people, they gotta understand, dieting is not a magic pill, and it's not magic thing, you know, that you're do. As you all know, Kai turned pro. I was the one who lifted his arm up, and he was natural all his life. But he turned IFBB professional. So that show you that it's not about just, you know, what you take. It's about what you do with your body, and, you know, and diet the right way, and take your time. Diet should be like landing an airplane, nice and slow. You know, natural or not, enhanced or not, take your time when you diet. When you have a show, don't just say, oh, yeah, that's it, it's 12 weeks. Now I'm gonna kick ass. No, the whole year you should work towards the show. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not dieting, you know, I'm still eating, but guess what? But I bet you if I show you the skin on my skin, I got vein in my legs. I mean, people think I'm getting ready for a show. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So nutrition is everything. And that's what I'm trying to get at. So if you really want to do a show, you guys, it doesn't matter how bad you do. You know what you do? You say to yourself, you know, next year, I want to come back and I want to win that show. So you focus on that show. Now, I don't know if you win it or not, but at least you know that when you walk on that stage, or you go on that vacation, or you do your wedding or whatever, you'll be the most prepared to that day. You know what I'm saying? Other than just say, oh, okay, 12 weeks out. Who says 12 weeks out? You know, you're supposed to, I mean, you guys saw the difference in Kai. The whole year we worked towards this. It wasn't one day that he wasn't thinking, man, I want to win the Olympia. You think it's easy to go next to Phil Heath and get him scared? The guy's a gift. I mean, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah.
He was scared. Believe me, guys. I was there. I was sitting in the front, and I saw Phil. He's breathing heavy, and he's looking at Kai back and forth. You know, like he was scared. And the only way we did that is Kai worked every single day towards the Olympia. You know what I'm saying? And that's, you know, that's when you wanted something so bad. That's what you do. So there's nothing impossible. Nothing impossible as long as you put your mind into it. Any dream you can dream of, you know, you can make it reality. If you say, you know what, I'm going to work hard towards it. You know, I came from a family where 11 people. We were poor. We were living in a one-bedroom house. Kai went to my house. Kai took the camera, started taking pictures of my house. You couldn't believe it. But you know how I made this? I explained it to Kai. I said, that was a dream of me. Man, I never thought I'm going to have Lamborghini and Ferrari but you know what? I did it. You know what I'm saying? Because it's a dream. So same thing with bodybuilding. When I used to tell all my friends, you know, in the gym, I was back in Lebanon before I even went to the U.S. I'm like, man, someday I'm going to be in the magazine. I'm going to be pro. They look at me like, we can't even see you behind the bar. You know, I was like 40, 50 kilo when I was an adult. You know, so that's what I'm saying. You guys, anything you put your mind into it will happen. You know, but that's what you got to do. You got to eat during seminar and whatever, whatever it takes. You know. Any question, you guys? Seriously, any questions?
I only got into this kind of recently, like from November. I did a competition in April. Before that, I would have done a lot of other sports, and I found anyone that was giving me advice on getting ready for a show, the focus is on protein and your greens. There's very little thought about fats. Just what's your view on fats?
I like carbs, and a lot of people say, "Oh man, carbs." You know, I just wrote something in an article, and MD is going to be coming out. I was doing a seminar, and I was with Mr. Lee Haney. He was sitting next to me. We were in Atlanta doing a seminar, and some guy asked me. He said, "George, how is it true? Is it true that you know your guys only do 20 minutes of cardio and they eat that much carb? How is it possible?" And Mr. Haney took the microphone. He said, "Can I answer this?" I said, "Of course. How can I tell him no? You know, 8-time Mr. Olympia. He's legend." So he goes, "I don't." He said, "You know what? I don't understand. Why would you even ask that question?" He said, "The question that I don't understand that people keep asking, you know, oh, should we be on that keto diet? That you know, no carbs." He goes, "That's the wrong question." He said, "The reason why carbs work because I did it." He said, "Sean Ray did it. Rich Kasperi did it." You know, so he started naming all the guys. Arnold did it. So, you know, I looked out and I'm saying, you know, what I did, that I smiled because, I mean, you get the legend answering that question. I don't have to. So everything we eat naturally have some fat in it. So I don't really rely on the fat except towards the end, especially if you're a woman. I'll add some essential fatty acids and stuff, but really not much. 1 teaspoon a day, that's all what you need. You know, otherwise your body will not be forced to use your own fat for energy.
Actually, about that subject, recently I've read somewhere actually about the whole scandal with the diet, with Kai's diet now, with that, you know, you're claiming high carbs and someone else says that he's still going higher fats, lower carbs. Is there any truth to this, or?
We're sitting together here right now. Is that should answer your question or not?
I'm asking kind of both of you guys, I suppose. Because someone said that it's the physio kind of has something to do with the diets, or you know anything about that?
Yeah, you know what happened. I'm going to answer you real quick on this, so we get right to the point. The guy who went on that. No.
Let me ask you. Thank everybody for coming. My name is Kai Greene, and I had the privilege of working with George Farah this year, getting ready for the Olympia, just as I did last year, getting ready for the Olympia. We also worked together for the New York Pro last year, and for the show in India, both shows in India. Without trying to say names, without trying to give spotlight to people that really don't deserve it, the truth is, when you work very hard to accomplish anything, you become attractive. Success is attractive. When you aspire to be successful, you will attract things to you. Not everything that is attracted to you do you really expect and kind of want. You become attracted to things that are not necessarily meaning you very much good. A rock star can work really hard to create good music. He can work really hard to develop his ear. He can learn musical theory. He can do all the things behind the scenes that are important enough to make him the success that he will one day become. It's important that we tell young people or people that are in the process of creating the success for themselves. When you go to bed as the bodybuilder, aspiring to be great, to do the great things that you expect to do, other things will be attracted to you. They just will. It's inherent. It comes with the job. It will be up to you to be responsible. And in the face of not so nice things that are attracted to you, you still will have to be able to maintain poise, composure, smile, and do the appropriate thing and make good decisions. So in this moment, I say to you, everything that's attracted to you, not necessarily do you want, but you have to maintain composure and smile and just say, hey, as I am today. Because if you weren't successful, these things that are attracted to you would not be saying what they're saying. They wouldn't even think about you. They wouldn't know how to spell your name, and they wouldn't care. But people have to be intelligent, and I encourage each and every one of you to be intelligent. When you are aspiring to create the greatness in your life, in your career, in your plans going forward, recognize this, that there will be things that will be attracted to you that you might not necessarily want, but they're also a sign, though, of success, and they come along with the job. They're inherent. They're a part of it, So I will encourage you then to smile and make the right decisions. So that's it, But when the spotlight comes and the cameras come, and those other folks that are interested in finding what the way was that you took to get to that success, when they come along and say, well, hey, how did you do it? What's that? Then they come along and say, hey, I want a piece of that. That looks attractive to me. Where's their professional status? If they know the way and knew the way, how come they never turned pro? People don't ask those questions, So, yeah, I just wanted to say that. That's my little piece. Thank you.
In muscle development, you said that running is really good cardio for the women in preparation, and it's help develop the glutes. Would you suggest running for the male athletes as a cardio before the show?
It depends on what male athlete we're talking about. I don't really suggest as much for bodybuilders. You know what I mean? But I mean, every once in a while, it's not going to hurt you. Actually, will do you wonder, especially if you want to build your gluteus maximus. It really helps. But yeah, I'm not crazy about it for men, and not to mention, the most we ever do on my program probably was 30 minutes cardio. Yeah, the most we ever did is 30 minutes. So I don't. The main thing is what I tell bodybuilders, men, stay in shape. You know what I mean by that is, you probably heard it many times, and I keep on saying it. It's really what you bring. So the healthier you stay, and the better look you stay, and the leaner you stay, the better you're gonna do. Actually, the more muscles you build, because as we know, if you carry a lot of water and fat, your body won't allow you to build any more muscles. You know what I'm saying? So the leaner you stay, the more muscles you can add on year after year after year.
To elaborate a little further on that, first year we started working together, and even this year, in the off season, a little bit smaller in the off season than I've been accustomed to. Consuming less food. George was very concerned about my midsection. George was concerned about a lot of things that were reflected in the program that I received. I'd see this program and I look, okay, wow, we're doing 9 ounces of protein. Now, in the past, up until this point, the largest work that I'd done earlier on in my career, I consumed massive amounts of protein every meal. One of the biggest changes we made right away was, okay, Kai, I need you to consume less protein. We're going to get your kidneys to work less. We're going to lighten that load for them a little bit. Now, when you hear the word health and the idea of health and healthier kidneys, first, you think, well, I can't argue with that, but I'm looking around and thinking, wow, I'm consuming less food. This is less protein. Doesn't that mean I'm going to be smaller? Doesn't that mean, because where I came from, in order to get big, you got to eat big and consume massive amounts of calories and definitely a lot of protein. So in short, those things changed. Walking around in the off season, going to guest posings, and people are saying things like, wow, Kai looks streamlined this year for the guest posing. He looks not, he's definitely not 300 pounds. And up until that point, I developed this idea that people had of me that was, Kai's going to come in very massive and guest posing. He's still going to stand on his head and he's going to do this stuff. And now, no, Kai looks like he's about 265. Definitely a far cry from 300. And meanwhile, behind the scenes, I'm talking to George, and I'm like, George, I don't know about this, Gee, I'm looking kind of small. Kai, don't worry. He said, don't worry. We're on the path towards achieving greatness at the Olympia. You'll see when we get to the Olympia next year, it will pay off. That was hard to see because in the immediate moment, I felt less than myself. I thought I looked less than myself. And I felt like I was being held to an expectation by the fans and people in the sport that this package was less than, So part of you had to have some faith, and part of you had to believe that as you were taking in this information, that it made sense, and be willing to trust and go. Monitoring your weight in the off season, not allowing yourself to blow up to the extreme numbers, looking at these numbers and saying, yeah, it's impressive, 330 in the off season. But in truth, if you're 330 in the off season and very little bit of that are you actually going to walk around and say is quality muscle, then what are you really going to bring to the stage? You're going to have a hell of a lot more work for yourself to lose in the way of body fat and subcutaneous water than necessary, So you had a better way that was presented, if you were willing to work with it and let it work for you.
Not to mention, if you get that big, trying to lose it to make your weight, you'll actually end up losing more muscles than you're supposed to. And this is the wrong way. And that's why, like he was talking about, like he was amazed because we started the diet. I think we were like 282, 283. We started the diet and we end up a week of the show. He was 272. So he lost like 10 pounds. The whole 16 weeks, whatever we did.
But the composition kept changing. You got harder. You got fuller. Your muscles were growing. Wow, this is great. Man.
Breathing healthier, sleeping better. I mean, everything comes with it. That's why I said it's very, very important to stay like somehow lean in the off season. It's very, very healthy.
That is big.
Very good. Big.
Very, very, very important. Can't stress it enough. I suffer from sleep apnea, and it was really bad. And it got really worse when I was heavier. And when I'm, so in the past when I go in these deep off seasons, heavier weight and pushing heavier weight in the gym, but now realizing how unnecessary that was, there's also unnecessary health risks that went along with that now you're able to avoid, by just working a better way. So definitely when it's stressed to point, staying leaner, keeping your body fat low all year round is very, 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 very important. It was one of the very critical things that, led to our success this year at the Olympia.
Guys, in terms of the protein, like you said you cut back a little bit, but what about if like most of us here are still kind of growing? It's like different. So would you say as much?
It's same thing, you see, and you know how I stumble on it, believe it or not. I'm not a genius or anything, but the way I came to think about it that way because as you all know, I got shot and I almost died. I was pronounced dead, the whole 9 yards, and I left with one kidney. And I was forced in the off season, not to eat a lot of protein. It's not by choice, but I'm like, man, my creatinine is 2.1. I want to hold it there, because everybody told me, oh, if you keep going, by age 35, you're going to be on dialysis. I'm like, I'm not going to be on dialysis. I have kids, I have 2 daughters. I'm going to live there. So, make story short, for the past 12 years, I competed, and my creatinine is still 2.1, never changed. And the reason how I did it, I relied a lot more on carbohydrate in the off season, you know what I mean? And doing a little bit of cardio in the off season and eating clean, you know, instead of a lot of fat, stay away from the fat. That's why I said that will allow you to eat more carbs, you know what I mean? And then when the diet comes, you know, when it comes down to show time, I'll raise my protein a little bit, which is, you know, for that, you know, 8 weeks, whatever, it's not going to really hurt me majorly, you know what I mean, versus the whole year eating a lot of protein. Doesn't matter who you are. If you eat a lot of protein and you know, you rely on all the synthetic stuff you take, and along with it, it comes with the pain, and you're going to take, you know, the ibuprofen, the Advil, these are all, you know, all kind of like you're taking a knife and digging it into your kidney. That's something you don't want to do. You see people take steroids and orals or whatever, and their liver get 3 times the amount. You know what? You stop steroid 6-7 months, your liver goes back to normal. It's resilient. It's perfect. Not your kidney, brother. So that's why it's very, very important to bodybuilders not to rely on, you know, 300 and 400 grams of protein. I mean, we've seen many legends. I don't want to name their names, but they're still among us now, and they're all on dialysis or waiting for kidneys and stuff. And that's why I'm happy to be, you know, a big part in bodybuilding. And Mr. Manion and everybody in the IFBB likes me because they know that I'm trying to preach the right thing, you know, to show people there is healthiest alternative instead of just killing yourself. Protein is just not the answer by itself, you know. I mean, I seen guys 180 pounds, you know, 70, 80 kilo taking 400 or 500 grams of protein. For what? What are you going to do with that? You know, it's not good. Pardon?
What's the upper range in terms of grams?
Honestly, I mean, even with Kai, we didn't do more than 2 grams a pound. We don't really rely too much. I mean, I rather have solid food, especially when you're hungry and you're starving. You can't just take a drink and, you know, be satisfied. So I rely for a diet. I'm mostly, you know. Yeah, but don't overdo it on protein, you guys. I mean, of course, all the supplement company out there, they want you to buy their protein and they want, you know, but, you know, in reality, you got to be smart. Don't, except, of course, if you can't make your meals, then that's fine to rely on protein. It's food. It's still same food, but just don't overdo it, you know. It's not good. It's not healthy, I promise you.
And natural versus enhanced, would you agree that natural will eat less protein basically, as it will be able to process less protein?
You know, depends. Depends on the person. You know, it's just like we talk about carbohydrates. Some people can eat a lot of carbs and nothing happens. Some people can't even look at carbs and they gain weight. Same thing with protein. Some people tolerate it very well. Some people don't. But the main thing, if you're natural or not, get your blood work checked. It's very well worth it, at least once a year. I'm not asking you to go do it 2 or 3 times, but at least once a year, go get your panel done. You know, get your liver, your kidney, your thyroid checked. So because it's really bad. You know, I don't know. You guys, anybody know Marius Downey Marius? Marius came to me about 3 years ago, and he wants to work with me. I said, okay, great, Marius. I need blood work done. He said, well, I've been on for, I said, Marius, I need the blood work done. He said, I went to my doctor, tells me everything. I said, I don't care what your doctor tells me. I need to see it, you know. Make the story short, he sent me his blood work done. I said, Marius, your kidney are about to shut down. He goes, what are you talking about? I said, you see, what doctor tells you that your blood work is right? So anyway, when his doctor, you know, saw what I'm talking about, his doctor called me from South Africa. He said, George, thank you for bringing this to my attention. Make the story short, Marius have very, very, very short time left from bodybuilding. I said, Marius, I'll promise you we'll bring you in the best shape of your life, because he worked with a lot of, you know, gurus out there or whatever. Nobody asked him for blood work. So I made him win the Europa show, and he went to the Olympia. He was the most improved bodybuilder of the year. This year, he wants to do the Europa. I told him, send me your blood work. He went and got his blood work. I said, Marius, you got to retire. He goes, what are you talking about? I said, Marius, you can't. You do one more show, You're gonna be on dialysis for the rest of your life. You just had a baby, this and that. He went back to his doctor. The doctor called me. He said, "Thank you for telling him this because this is what he did," and he retired. But he's 30 years old, and he could have been an amazing bodybuilder. He's amazing, but of course he went with the wrong, people. He worked with people on keto diet, and they have only 500-600 grams of protein, and they didn't recognize that he have kidney problem. He was born with it too. So you guys got to be careful because it's really very silent. You might think you look phenomenal on the outside, but then when you go get a check, you're like, wow, man, I got to be careful. That's why I said be careful with protein. It's not necessarily your best friend, especially if you have injured kidney. You're screwed. You can't bring it back. You follow me? The liver, everything else will be okay with, but not kidneys, man. When your kidney's gone, you're done.
Can I have a question for both of you about a lot of guys here probably after competition saying they were taking a break, eating a lot of crap and not training, rest. What do you think about that? Like, for me, it's the best time to train after competition. You can respond better. So what do you think about taking break after a long diet and
Taking break from what?
from training?
From training, it's okay to take a break. Of course, if you're getting ready for Mr. Olympia versus getting ready for your Mr. on your best beach or whatever, it's a different story. But if you're at the Olympia, like Kai, and he put on 6 on 500, like he said, 5, and I'm telling you, guys, I was telling Sean earlier, I said, he have 400 pounds. He's doing it for 20, 25 reps. It doesn't matter how unhuman you are. You need to take a rest. So that's why I always tell him, listen, don't worry about it. And Kai wants to go next day to the gym. I'm like, Kai, please, just take a break. Take a break. So yeah, a break is a must. But eating crap or whatever, that's the time when you're supposed to not eat crap. I mean, yeah, you're okay. You go enjoy your show. You're done with your show. Have some nice meal. Have a little dessert. But you shouldn't really blow up and stuff, because I've seen a lot of people, and we all did it. Don't get me wrong. We all made that mistake, But it's not very healthy. I mean, if your ankle's swollen up and, imagine how your internal looks like. You don't want to blow up after the show. So be careful. After the show, watch your water intake. Because a lot of people say, oh, I'm going to start drinking more. Because the more you drink, you flush. Not necessary. Not after the show. Not after you dry yourself up. And some people take diuretic, whatever. Anything you drink, you're going to hold on to. And each gallon of water is 8 pounds. So be careful. Don't overdo it. Nice and easy. Slow down. Go back into it. This is because the reason why I'm expressing it more and more, it's very dangerous. A lot of people end up in the hospital. No, Robert's he's a good guy. I like Robert a lot. Good man.
You were saying that for people that are in the masters from 40 up, that it's ludicrous to be training really heavy.
Well, I mean, it depends on what we call heavy. You see, your body doesn't know how much you're lifting. It's the way you trigger your body. Like we could easily, for example, if Kai can do the 400 pound, 500 pound of squat and do it for 500, that's not heavy. If you do it 20 reps, that's not heavy, But I don't want guys to say, oh man, I just did 500 pounds. Well, how many reps you did it? 3. Wow, it was really good. Like, what are you training? You're training your joints. Your muscles didn't even get anything yet. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So that's what I'm trying to explain to you. Like, people rely on heavy weight, It's really, it's about activating. The more, you remember that Synthol, everybody was using Synthol. It's the same thing, same concept. The more blood you bring to your muscles, the more your muscles going to expand and get bigger. So that's why they were using Synthol or whatever. But this is what you need to do. Working out, you need to get that nice, good pump. And I'm not saying just go hold 5 pounds and just, no, it's not going to work. Something that every time you grab a weight, it's, everybody's different. How I was talking about carbs and protein, same thing with working out. People look at me, they say, man, why Branch does that? That's what works for Branch. Doesn't work for me, doesn't work for Kai. Kai does, you know, that full range of motion and stuff. I don't know how Branch will look if he did full range of motion. He'd probably blow us all away, you know. But that's what he wants to do. That's what works for him. So everybody's different, you know what I mean? I'm just giving you like an outline, what you should do and how you should do it. But I'm not gonna be inside you and feel what works for you. Like for example, guy been working out forever, and then I showed him just 6 months or whatever, like certain things for chest. He goes, wow, I can't believe I've been doing it wrong. I'm like, Kai, you're not doing it wrong. You just, you know, a little twitch can make a big difference, you know. So I'll show you the way, but it's up to you to feel if something is working for you or not. Not your friend, not your training partner, you know. Like if you and your training partner doing, for an example, squat, and he's feeling a certain way and you're not, you can't just stick with what he did. Oh, that works for him. No, it's not necessary. It doesn't work. Like I said, just like the food, each and every individual is different. No, that's what I told him. You know, so everybody's different. I just don't like, you know, those, everybody have his own principle and stuff. I'm honest, man. I'm right. If I want to make a book and sell it and call it bullshit workout, people will buy it. But I'm not going to do this. I'm going to be honest with you. Whatever works for you doesn't work for me. Whatever works for him doesn't work for me. Everybody's different.
Do you recommend cardio on your own?
Yes. I tell you why I recommend cardio. You know, when you're dieting down and stuff, a lot of people use T3 and thyroid medication. Why? Why they use this?
To replace cardio is great.
Well, not only this, it's to really, believe it or not, you know, when you take something like the T3 or whatever, all of a sudden you're like, man, I'm looking more muscular, oh, I'm losing fat. It's not really. What it does is helping you absorb more food. It's making you more anabolic. That's what cardio do. For skinny people, I take them, I let them do more cardio in the off season because they gain more muscle, because they absorb more food. You know, I'm crazy, but it works. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not going to go by the book, oh man, no, you're skinny, don't do cardio. No, come here, you're skinny, you want to gain weight? Come here, buddy. I want you to do 20 minutes of cardio. What? Yes. And then all of a sudden, it's like, holy shit, I gained 15 pounds. I haven't gained like this in a year because you're doing cardio. So cardio is actually a good way of absorbing more food. Makes you more hungry, makes you digest the food better. I mean, it's a lot of good way in cardio. As a matter of fact, I rely on cardio in the off season more than when I'm dieting for a show, because when you're dieting for a show and you're on limited calorie, you shouldn't be doing too much cardio. Capiche?
Friend competing tomorrow is asking this question now. Diuretics like aldactone and all these ones. Is there any bad ones that you say that people shouldn't take because?
It's really hard to tell somebody what to take. I'm not working with them. I don't know. I mean, if I tell you how much we use, you'll be like, no way. You know, it's really, you know what, people need to understand. If you're 2 weeks out from the show, you look shredded and your glutes are showing, there's no reason to do like hocus pocus stuff, like all that stuff from 1975, people coming up to me, oh man, should I salt load and should I cut my salt? And why you want to cut your salt? You've been taking salt all this time. Why you want to cut it all of a sudden the last week? So he said, you sure you don't want me to cut salt? I'm like, Kai, why would I cut? Look at you. Look at your glutes. Why would I cut salt? For what? Just so for the sake that, oh, they used to cut salt, you know, and 20, 30 years ago. No, you just, whatever it's working for you, keep it. Don't do anything drastic at the end. That's where people fail. How many people you hear them, they say, man, you should see me last week.
Yeah.
Oh, you should see me 2 days after the show. You know, I want to see you now, you know. So that's why, don't do anything crazy, you guys. Nothing, it's really like landing an airplane, nice and slow, nothing crazy. Okay? All right, we got to take a couple more questions, and after that, we're going to start charging money.
What do you think about taking testosterone when you're coming up to 40 or that way?
When you come what?
Up to 40. Age 40.
Oh, of course, it's very important. You know, I mean, HRT is one of the highest business going, and I tell you, why is it good? Because it's very dangerous if your testosterone level is lower than the normal. That's when you have a lot of problems. You know what I mean? Because it's very important hormone in your body. If it's not regulated, you have many problems, including, you know, heart attacks and strokes and many things. Yeah, so it's very important. But of course, you got to do it by a doctor's supervision.
All right.
would you recommend kind of going on and off or bridging throughout the whole year, or what's your kind of take on this?
I always go off. Everything. Including protein, including carb. Everything in life you gotta cycle. Otherwise, the human brain is so smart and you get adaptive so quickly. So you always need to make your body guess. So yeah, sometimes I even like, we go out with no protein at all whatsoever. Like I give them juice and stuff like this. I said, just for 1 week, I don't want you to eat anything. Just, greens and juice and stuff cleans your system, So. Any more questions?
Just to go back to your cardio, is that like very much a personal thing when it works for you, like doing it in the morning, doing it in the evening, or before or after training? Would that be really something you have to figure
The
out?
cardio?
Yeah.
Well, the cardio is different. Cardio, you have, depends on what you want it to do. If you want it for food absorption and stuff, any time of day is fine. If you want it for cardiovascular, I prefer actually, believe it or not, at night. Like before your last meal or something. Don't do it last before you go to bed because you deplete all your glycogen, you can't sleep, you run hot. If you want to lose fat, first thing in the morning or immediately after working out. But remember, you need to have some kind of a branched chain amino acids or protein, fast protein to recover. For example, you first wake up in the morning, you get a scoop of Hydro Whey, drink it, or 10 grams of branched chain amino acids and have it, and then do your cardio. It's perfectly fine. Same thing after working out. If you get done working out, instead of jumping on a cardio, you need to recover your muscles. And we talked about the sugar we don't want to take, so that's when you go to Hydro Whey or branched chain amino acid, and then you can do your cardio. So that way you at least that you're preserving your muscles. You're not going into catabolic while you're going into doing cardio to burn, because those are 2 times morning and night, your glycogen is depleted, so you can dig into your fat cell right away for energy. And another big thing, very important, always before a show, you should try to be in shape at least 2-3 weeks before the show so you can stop cardio. Because a lot of people keep the cardio all the way to the end. And I'm sure you guys heard it many times, or it happened to you many times. And then you start carbing up. You're like, oh my God, I'm carbing up and I'm losing weight. Well, the reason why, because your body's used to burning fat for energy. So it doesn't recognize the carb. So it goes right through you, actually fast up your metabolism more, and you lose more weight instead of filling up. Okay, so keep that in mind.
Carb loading, George, last week, do you recommend this?
Pardon?
Carb loading, that kind of stuff, do you recommend?
You know what I do is like kind of, first of all, we don't take the carb completely down except if you're really out of shape or whatever. So what I do is, let's say we have 6 meals a day and you're only having 3 meals of carbs, a week before the show. So what I do is I add the carb for the last 3 meals. I don't overdo it or whatever. Just let your body, do your natural thing, okay? Because those carbs, because if you're taking 2 cups of rice, you have about a cup of water. So that's how I do it. I add the carb and I lower the water a little bit. You know what I'm saying? So whatever I add from the carb, I take it out of the water. That's how you come in dry. Okay? It was nice talking to you guys. I guess that will do it, Thank you for having us in Ireland and looking forward for many, many years to come.